Hi people, thank you for joining me again. Welcome back to the channel. And I want to talk to you about Thailand. Right, so I watched a podcast by a guy called James English, and he was interviewing this guy. Right, I'm not going to go into too much about this big story, right, but basically this chap went to Thailand, right, on like a tourist visa or something like that, and he overstayed his visa, right? And there's a big hullabaloo. Like, he told this story about how he tried to get like going through like a counterfeit set up to try and pay money to get a visa to stay in Thailand, because he lived in Thailand for, I can't remember exactly how long, right? But the gist of the story was that he'd made a life there, right? And he'd had an apartment and he was loving Thailand, right? But he overstayed his visa. He overstayed his original visa. Now, the penalties for doing such a thing in Thailand is not a slap in the wrist by any manner. If you overstay your visa in Thailand, you're going to jail. You are going to jail, and you can go to jail for quite a significant period of time, like depending on how long you overstay. Now, the guy that was telling the story was a bit of an idiot, to be honest, right? I didn't believe a word he was saying, right? I think he was just a numpty. I don't know what he was into, and I believe there's probably other reasons why he get the jail in Thailand, right? But this is actually what he was saying about overstaying his visa and getting like caught out and done for that. That is definitely true. Now, what I want to say is, we've got like foreigners here, right, that have came here and they're on like things like indefinite leave to remain and all that. Right, for a start, we could scrap that, completely scrap that, right? And if somebody comes over here on some sort of visa, right, it doesn't matter if they've been here like 40 years and they've made a life and all that. That wouldn't matter in Thailand. See, if you get caught, you would spend the rest of your life in jail in Thailand, right, under like really, really harsh, inhumane conditions and all that, at the risk of beatings and stabbings and textual assaults, shall we say, I'm trying to get around the algorithm here, right? But we are just far, far too soft in Britain, so we're far too soft, right? People are coming here and it doesn't matter to the Thais, do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter to them that you've overstayed and you've made a life there, do you know what I mean? So they're not going to chuck you out. Ah, they fuck, man, they're going to put you in jail, man, for the rest of your natural born, because you've overstayed your visa, no, do you know what I mean? Whereas here, it's like, oh, we won't deport anybody, man, even people that they commit the most heinous of crimes, do you know what I mean? We won't do anything with them, do you know what I mean? We're bound down to places like Pakistan and all that. We're giving them fucking millions and millions of pounds in foreign aid, right? If I were in charge, right, I'd scrap all the aid to Pakistan, right? I think really the only reason that we're doing that is a bribe, basically. It's because the Pakistanis have got nukes, basically. So it's like the Pakistanis, you give them money and nothing happens to the nukes, right? But if we stop doing that, I reckon that we'd probably be a target, do you know what I mean? And we'd go down the route of like Iran and all that, carry on, right? Anyway, right, the point I want to make is, right, see these people that come over in dinghies and all that, and like, I think anybody that does that should be immediately detained, not put into a hotel, not put into social housing. They should be detained in an immigration detention centre. There's one not far from me. It's probably about maybe a half an hour drive. It's just outside a town called Straven, and it's called Dungavel. Now, personally, I think that we need to be building more of these detention centres, and for these people that come over illegally and chuck their documents away and all that, it should be treated as a crime. It should be a crime. It shouldn't be, we shouldn't be putting them up in hotels and social housing and all that. They are breaking the law. They are breaking the law. Thailand wouldn't put up with it. There's loads of Malaysia, all these places, do you know what I mean? That if you overstay a tourist visa, you can end up with fucking 10 plus years in jail. Think about that, folks, right? Think about it. And we're such a walkover over here. We need to take the Thailand stance on this, I think. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.